So if you're an online educator, facilitator, coach, mentor, anybody who is in the profession of helping people in kind of a service-based business, helping people create better lives, better results in their life, etc., you have to realize something really, really important. And this is what most people get wrong in this industry, and it's why they struggle and why their clients, their people, don't get great, consistent results. And it's not something that anybody really teaches because it's a very hard thing to teach. So you have to understand that 90% of your job as a facilitator, a coach, a mentor, has nothing to do with the knowledge that you're imparting on people. It really doesn't. If it was about knowledge and it was just who had the best knowledge won, then you would already be out of business, right? Because it would be, there's just people that you can't compete with. And then AI obviously would just wipe the fucking board and the slate clean because nobody can keep up with AI in terms of knowledge. That's not what you're giving people when you work with them. The gift that you're giving people and what really high level and exquisite facilitators, coaches, teachers do is they show up with a presence that creates a clearing in people's lives. So I'm going to break this down and explain it. You have a field, and it's your job as a facilitator to cultivate this field, to cultivate like an aura, essentially, I think the kids call it these days. I don't care if you believe this or not, it's just the truth, right? I have worked with many, many high-level 7- and 8-figure mentors and teachers, and they have an aura. And the reason that they're successful is because they've cultivated this energetic aura, this energetic field that when people get around it, things naturally transpire. That is your job as a facilitator. It's not to fucking have the best knowledge. Like, share the knowledge for sure. Give everybody the best you can to support them with the tools and tactics. But at the end of the day, tools and tactics don't get results. The embodiment of your work does. That's what changes people's lives. And so you actually don't have to work so hard as a coach and a facilitator, a teacher, etc., an online educator. If you're working with people live and you feel like you have a big agenda, you're trying to get them somewhere, you're trying to do a bunch of work over there, you're trying to get them to see something, you're trying to get them results, you're focusing on the wrong thing, right? Because you're actually adding more tension into the field. You're adding more tension into the frequency. You're essentially saying, like, you're not where you're supposed to be, and I'm gonna brute force my way to get you results. And people come to you because they've already tried brute force. They've already tried working it out with knowledge. They've already tried racking their brain, but now they're paying someone because they need something beyond that, right? They need something beyond just trying. And so you doubling down and just trying for them or trying to get them to see something is actually making the whole fucking situation worse. People are gonna unfold, they're gonna expand, they're gonna grow on their own accord. We don't get to choose the timeline for them. But if we can cultivate a really pristine field, a really pristine energy, if we can embody the work that we've done, which is why really, really high level facilitation and coaching is all internal. It's all like, okay, what are the things that I've generated in my life? Like, what have I broken through in my own emotional world, in my own mental world? What kind of tensions have I worked through within myself and resolved? What kind of distortions have I healed within myself? Because the more of that I do, not only the more understanding that I have of where other people are at, but the more energy that my field can hold. And the bigger and cleaner the expanse of it. This is why people have really miraculous and transformational results getting around somebody. And it's why when I select a teacher, I don't look at their knowledge. I don't look at their credentials. All right? I'm paying $1,800 for a group program per month right now. It's going to be like $25,000 investment this year with a guy that, like, you know, the knowledge is amazing and he's done a bang up job and he gives so much, but I don't really fucking pay attention to it. What I'm attuned to is the frequency that he's operating on and the field of students that he's attracted. because he's really clean. He has a really high level of integrity. He shows the fuck up, and because he does these things and he's reached a level of success that I aspire to financially and, on his platforms and everything like that, that is all I need. And so I know that if I just get around that field consistently, get around him consistently in the group that he's cultivated, that I will be successful. And his presence does enough. So I want to impart one thing on you because I think I made my point here. And by the way, within a month of starting to work with this guy, despite not even consuming much of his content at all, I did a record launch of $58,000 and did, almost $90,000 in the first 60 days of 2026, which is massive. It's almost half of what I made in the last year. So it works, right? You just get around people's field and it works. That's living evidence of it. But what I want to leave you with is this idea that your job and most of your work, at least 80% of your work, needs to be focused on who you're being. It needs to be focused on cultivating the qualities and embodying the energetics and the frequency of the work that you do in the world and the work that you talk about. And if you're not doing this, if you're selling one thing but living another way, that will catch up with you, right? And when people get around you, you could have all the best knowledge in the world. You could steal from all the other creators. But if your field can't hold their transformation, can't hold where they're at, can't attune to them, can't hold the frequency of success or of healing or of whatever it is that you're promising people, then you're a fraud. And you might be able to get people into your world, but people won't get results. And if people stop getting results and they're paying you money, you're not going to last very long. It's just the way it goes. So take on your own work, take on your own healing, get supported by your own coaches, your own mentors, and start to really refine that energy. Because once you do that, you can simply show up for people, simply let them be in your presence, let them work themselves out with you without having to do much over there, just letting them go through their process, and they will change. Their life will change. I promise you. I see it happen all the time. That's really the mastery of relational physics, you could call it, right? So if you want to learn more about my whole process, about how I built, a multi-six-figure business in the last 14 months, going from $0, living in a shack, pissing in a fucking jar because I didn't have a bathroom, drinking out of a hose, and now doing pretty well for myself, consistent, 15, 20, 25, and even $30,000 months. I got a free 28-day course you can take. It's just a 3-minute email every single day directly to your inbox. Talk about the whole process and tell a bit more about my story. And if you're really keen, well, I'll go through that first, but if you're really keen, I also run an accelerator for creators. It's a 6-week long accelerator called Feral Creator. And you can find more details in the description. Get in my field. It might just change things for you. All right. Have a great day. Ciao.